All right. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with JJ Jara. On this episode, I have a really cool cat, and if you're watching the video right now on YouTube, you probably know who he is. He's wearing that Zillow killer hat, and it's the one and only Greg McDaniel. Greg McDaniel, thank you and welcome to Real Talk with JJ Jara.
JJ, it's absolutely a blessing to be here. I've listened to a couple of your other podcasts, some really good stuff. So I'm really enjoying the opportunity to share with your audience some of the real down and dirty shit that you got to do to be a part of the real estate industry, and how you can be yourself, and how a lot of your past guests have some incredible stories. I look forward to sharing mine. Hopefully I can be some inspiration, and I can show people how to be authentically themselves on this show and really crush it in their own little niche. Because if you're Tom Cruise famous to 50 people, you can make $1 million or more a year, and you don't have to wear a suit and tie. But we'll get into that later. But I'm just blessed to be here, brother.
Awesome, man. So I've always liked to give a plug to everyone that comes into the show at the very beginning. I don't want to wait till the end. Let's go ahead and give you a plug. So let everyone know where you're from, because I know you sell real estate up north by near son Ramon. But let everybody know where they can find you on your Instagram handles, on your social media, or maybe a phone number if they want to sell any real estate. Where can they get a hold of you?
If you want to sell some real estate, baby, I'm your man up here in Northern Cal. Right. You guys can go ahead and get a hold of me. My cell number is 925-915-1978, like the year. You can call or text. That's my cell. Instagram handle is Greg McDaniel, REU for Real Estate Uncensored. And that is my podcast, Real Estate Uncensored, which is one of the top rated podcasts on iTunes right now. We've been doing my co-host, Matt Johnson, and I've been doing it for four and a half years at this point, several hundred episodes, tons of great guests, which we're going to get JJ on our show. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to have some fun on it. But that's where you guys can reach me. So 925-915-1978 for real estate uncensored for podcasting. Yeah, man, that's all I got.
Now, bro, I gotta ask you, because I know you're running your badass podcast. I just noticed that you're also doing a TV show. How's that going? When did that started? How did that start?
So everyone was fucking an asshole to me about 3 or 4 years ago, and I told them this. I said, hey, I'm gonna have a radio show. And I was like, you're crazy. You're not gonna have a radio show. A little over a year ago, I got a contract signed with one of the largest radio stations up here called KGO 810 Radio. And I ran a radio show for a year until they tried to jack my prices up, and they were charging us $2,500 an episode. So per week. So $11,000 a month for that. So they wanted to jack our prices. We said, forget you, we're done. So I turned to a videographer and a cinematographer, colleagues of mine. I said, hey guys, this is I have an idea. They said, hey, let's change it up a little bit. And so now we are on episode 3. We're looking for additional funding right now to finish it up. But I mean, we're rolling. It's called Day Trips, and it is an adventure where we go out and we check out really cool things all around the Bay Area, build in some advertising for real estate and for my team and for kind of what I'm doing. And it's actually came about very organically, just by the people I've worked with in the past, and how it just kind of bloomed into something really awesome. And I have high hopes. And you know what? Here's my thing about this. Whenever someone tells you you can't do something, that's when you turn it around and say, fuck you, yes I am, watch me. And then you just put it out into the universe and say, you know what? I believe that I'm going to be able to achieve this. I don't know when and how it's going to show up for me, but I guarantee you it is going to show up for me. And that's what I did. That is exactly what I did. And it has shown up. My car that I'm driving right now is my dream car. It's not a Lambo, not a Ferrari, but it's a Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT8. That thing's fast, 470 horsepower right out of the gate. I had that thing on my wall for 4 years. The exact, down to the rotor colors for the brakes is what I had on that wall, is what I'm driving right now. So what you put into the universe, you will get back. So that TV show, I put it into the universe and it has come back to me. Ow, just jammed my elbow. Damn, that hurts. I put that out in the universe, apparently. But it just goes to show you, no matter what you want will come to you. It's very simple.
That's right. And so I love that you're saying this. I'm listening to you right now, and I'm a firm believer of that whatever you put out there is what you'll receive. If you believe in it, I don't give a shit who believes in it or not. As long as you believe in it, that's enough.
Yep.
Put in the
100%.
freaking work, be consistent, be patient more than anything, and it'll come around.
It will definitely come around. Now, it might not come around in the way you think it's going to come around.
That's right.
You know, for instance, if you want to have a new house, you got to be careful how you go about that, because if you say, I want a new house, I want a new house, I want a new house, or a new car, well, you might have to lose the house you're currently in to get what you want.
That's right.
So be very specific about what you put out to the universe, because it's like the most finite delivery system on earth. You know, you put it out, it will give you back something, but watch out, because you say, hey, I want to be the richest person on earth. Great. But you also might be the loneliest person, because you lose all your family and friends in the process of becoming the wealthiest. So be very specific and very whole rounded on what you're looking for. Otherwise, you will get what you want, but it's in a different way. Like, okay, so yes, I'm a single man that's straight. And yes, I have cats. So fuck off if you don't like me. But I always said I wanted a fat cat, a fat male cat, right? Well, what I didn't specify was it would be one cat. So I got gifted. It's a long story. I got gifted these two cats, one a fat little female and one a tall black cat. So I got my fat male cat, just in a different delivery package. That's just an example. And they might show up somewhere in this podcast. So just be aware.
Yeah. I actually saw that. I have a couple of things that I know that you like. You like cats for sure. You like beer.
Love beer.
Coffee.
Love coffee.
You have a great sense of humor.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're a real human being. You keep it authentic. You no bullshit, but at the same time, you love helping others.
Yeah, I really do. You know, my father's been in the business for 47 years. I call him the Grand Master, you know, broker in 3 different states. And I'm a clusterfuck of a human being. Back when I was in college, I didn't graduate college. And I had no formal education besides high school. I got kicked out of college, and my dad dragged me back up here. And out of the goodness of his heart, he offered me a position to work in his real estate team.
Right.
And I mean, I'm the guy with I'm covered with tattoos. I had colored hair, I got earrings. I was not the person to be selling high-end luxury real estate, right? My dad made me take out my earring, which that really pissed me off. I still have the hole right here. I just actually mess with it every once in a while. But, you know, the grace and love and kindness that my father and my business partner showed me throughout the years of working together, it all of a sudden came to a point where I said, you know what? I have something between my ears I didn't know I had, because I was raised with a real estate broker. And when I turned 16 years old, my dad threw me the keys. And he's like, hey, Greg, you want to drive? And in my mind, I'm like, drive with dad? Yeah. That means like windows down, music up, rocking out. No. That was windows up, AC on, no music, dad on phone doing deals.
Yeah.
But what I heard was how to negotiate deals, and it was just put into my blood and just became part of me. And I realized one day, I was listening to another real estate agent talk and try to negotiate, and they didn't know what they were doing. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And so I started giving back. I was asked to be the head trainer for my brokerage, and I was my ex-brokerage for about 4 years, and I loved giving back to the brokers and agents around me, because if I can help, that's why we started the podcast, if I can help an agent become a better version of themselves from the information I have in my head and from the training that I've received, then that's going to make our industry better. And if I make our industry better, that makes everyone in it a more responsible individual, so that we can all thrive together based upon the education that I was able to provide. So if I can pass it down to one, someone's going to pass it down to the next, and then it's going to pass it down to the next, and then so on and so forth. And a trickle down effect, we all benefit. There's no reason to be hoarding this knowledge and trying to make it all about me or all about my team. I will literally give anyone in my marketplace my handbook of how we operate and everything that we do. I've even offered out local agents the use of our team manager to run their deals for them, you know, to help the transactions go better. I love to help people because I just truly, honestly, to the core, believe that there is a more than enough business for anyone in this industry. If we all can understand that, we can all thrive together versus a few of us hoarding it and being jerk-offs while the others are starving and they have to go back to do 9-to-5 jobs with TPS reports and under fluorescent lights and 10 different managers and driving a shitbox car to a job that they hate 2 hours away, while their wife or husband nags at them and they just can't get ahead when if they just reach the fuck out and help these people,
that's right,
they could live the life of their dreams, and not fucking charge them for it.
So powerful, Greg. Do you believe in the law of attraction?
Oh, 100%. There is a book called Follow Your Passion, Find Your Power by Bob Doyle. He's one of the guys that was in The Secret. Now, this is the book that changed my life. I was at a point that I was so low in my life that I couldn't fucking take it anymore. I was in so much pain, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. I was beat down. I'd just gone through bankruptcy, foreclosure. I lost both of my houses, my cars. The girl I was dating broke up with me because she said I didn't make enough money for her. I couldn't go to any of my family because they were all broke. My parents almost lost their house. I had to give my parents a $16,000 loan, which is almost all the money I had. I saved $5,000 for myself to survive so that my parents wouldn't lose our family property. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And so I was desperately searching and I found this book, Follow Your Passion, Find Your Power by Bob Doyle. And I listened to this thing, man. This is back in the day when my 2004 GMC Denali, which had a CD player, and I burned the CDs and I listened to this thing probably for 2 years, 24 to 36 months, nonstop, to the point where my CD player almost broke on me. And I would listen to it and listen to it and listen to it and listen to it. And I'd put what Bob was teaching into action. And I saw things manifest into my life. And it was insane to watch these things take place. I mean, once you put it out there, it just started coming back to you, good and bad. Okay. So if you say, I don't want to get in a car accident. I don't want to get in a car accident. I don't want to get in a car accident. Well, you're going to get in a car accident.
That's right.
But if you manifest, like one of the things that I say to myself on a consistent basis is, and I try to do it on an hourly basis. Like I try to be cognitive of the top of the hour or the bottom of the hour, whichever part of the day works best. And it's just repeat 10 times per hour. I'm the most financially successful individual that I know and I have a well-rounded life. And I say that over and over and over and over. And dude, it's incredible what starts to show up. Like I was doing it yesterday. And I had 2 conversations with people for funding from my TV show that want to go out and find money and get this thing funded. And so we can take it to larger networks. And that came out of the blue.
Wow.
It's insane.
Greg, I believe you, brother. And the reason I ask you if you believe in the law of attraction is because you mentioned earlier the reason why you started doing the podcast to give back and help others. I know you have a quote on, I think it's on your Facebook page, and it says, I'm just a guy trying to help as many people as I can live a life of their dreams. That's a badass quote. And so I know you come from a place of help, a place of contribution, and God's my witness. That's the only reason I started the podcast. Because I want to give back. I want to give people like you that have all this freaking badass knowledge, all these years of experience, to go ahead and just put it out there to whoever wants to listen, to whoever wants to learn from it. Because you're absolutely right. There's no need for us to just capture everything we know or even a portion of what we know. We could go ahead and give it back and help someone else. A lot of times we're helping not only the individual, but we're helping their families. And their families and people around them. So the impact that we have on somebody, just that one individual, is crazy. And that shit comes back tenfold on blessings.
So funny, there's 2 stories. One is a gal, her name is Neely. She's out of the Northwest. And I've been friends with her for many years. She was one of our original podcast listeners. When I first met her, she was a nurse and was kind of dabbling in real estate, and she started listening to it. She reached out to me, and the funny thing is, because I started offering what I used to do, it's called the McDaniel Challenge, and the McDaniel Challenge was, hey, come and register with me, and then I will give you, we'll book it out, and I'll give you an hour of free coaching, Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard. Let's do a free coaching session, right? And when she first got on her phone, her husband literally took her credit cards out of her wallet while she made the call because he was convinced that I was going to try to sell her something.
Oh, wow.
And now they've become good friends of mine, and they obviously know that I didn't do it. But when I kicked her ass so squarely in the taint that she jumped out of nursing, she went full-time into real estate. She became the number one listing agent in her office. Her first month out was 6 listings in her first month. There's another guy, Jason, out of Texas. And Jason was on the brink of insolvency. I mean, he literally had nothing. And this is what he's told me. He's like, hey, man, I listened to your podcast. I started putting what you and Matt were talking about into action. And dude, that fool is crushing it now. I think he opened his own brokerage now. I mean, he's just crushing it. And it's just, that's what I'm talking about. Giving back like that and then hearing those stories that people have been able to bloom and become the person that they wanted to be purely by just taking some of the things that Matt and I have put out there. You know, maybe listening to me doing cold calls and they got the courage to go out and do it. And then they get a listing and then it snowballs into more business, or listen to one of our guests that takes a crazy idea. Maybe they do door knocking, or maybe they do whatever, and they're able to bless and prosper their own personal lives off of something that we were able to share. Dude, you can give me as much money in the world as you want, but nothing will ever be more satisfying than when getting that phone call from someone going, hey man, I just want to let you know that like, because of you and what you've taught, I've been able to build a life for my family. I don't have to work the 9 to 5. I don't have to keep being a truck driver or a night manager or whatever. I've been able to move into real estate full time in my life and my family and my kids. I can see my kids grow up. I mean, how the fuck can you ever get higher than that when it comes to satisfaction? You just can't. Yeah,
man. And again, going back to the law of attraction, I'm a big believer in that, and so are you. And so therefore the universe some way, somehow connected us to have this conversation now. And so for that, I'm really grateful. I want to ask you, because before coming on to the video, to the recording, I said to you that one of the things that were subjects or topics that we wanted to talk about was about you selling multi-million-dollar real estate up north. And I know you, a lot of some people probably know you as well, and some may not, but they definitely will know you after the podcast, because you sell multi-million-dollar real estate up north. But also the crazy thing about it, Greg, is that you sell real estate on just wearing jeans and shirt and with a hat and I know about this particular. So I want to ask you. I know about this particular deal that listing that you took. It was about $2.5 million listing, and you're wearing a freaking shirt that said "What's up, chicken butt," something like that. Is that it?
Yeah, I had it's a blue shirt. I got it at Target. It was a Saturday morning. I got a call. Now this is a past client of mine that I hadn't talked to in 16 years. Okay. I'm just like everybody else. I fuck up all the time. I didn't talk to my client base. I should have. But my client William calls me up and he apologized. He apologized to me for not staying in touch with him, for not staying in touch with me. I'm like, huh? Okay, I'll take it. So I told him, hey, Willen, I'm going to be really casual if that's cool with you. And he's like, Greg, that's cool. Come on over. I'll be in flip-flops. I'm like, I'll be in flip-flops. He's like, okay. And so I walked over. I didn't even think about the shirt I was wearing. I put a baseball hat on. I think it was a Giants hat backwards with a blue shirt that had a picture of a chicken on the chest. Then it says, what's up? And it has an arrow pointing to the butt of the chicken. What's up, chicken butt? And I roll in there and I just sat down at the table, and it wasn't, here's my 3,000 bullet point list of how I'm going to get your home sold. It was, hey man, how's life? What's going on? How can I help? Oh, you're going through X, Y, and Z. Bummer, man. And then I legitimately, actively tried to keep him in that house. I had 2 lenders call him to see if they could restructure his loans so that he could stay in that house. And and unfortunately, obviously, he couldn't do it. It wasn't going to make any sense for him financially. So then we took proactive action and we listed the property and we put it out for sale, and we ultimately sold it for $2 million. The thing about this is that I didn't at any point put myself first in that transaction. I didn't try to sell him on anything. I tried to talk him out of doing this because I didn't know if it was the best thing for his family.
That's right.
He and his family are priority number one. And when the lenders called me up and said, Greg, why are you trying to keep him in this house? Don't you want to get this sale? I'm like, of course I want to get this sale. What do you think? I'm a retarded individual? But it's not going to come at the cost of relocating him and his family and make it such a horrible ordeal. I mean, they had to go into, a tiny little like 2-bedroom apartment for a couple of months, and they have a family of 5. That's not a comfortable living situation. And I knew that was going to take place. Yeah. But at the end of it, Willen, his wife Mary, their 3 boys are all extremely excited. We got them into a brand new home. Nice. And we got the property sold. But it was being authentic and real, showing up as your real self. My father, the Grand Master T. Diddy, me papa, he has this way. Now, I watched him. I used to go on listing appointments with him all the time. And I would just sit there. I just sit there and shut up and just listen. I couldn't figure out what this magical essence he possessed. He would sit there and, dude, this guy makes millions of dollars, right? He's not hurting for cash, but he drives an old, GMC Denali. He buys his shirts at Costco. He buys his, his tan pants at Macy's. He just rolls in there. He just crosses his legs. He brings out his yellow pad like this. Yeah. Flips over the sheet. And no joke, he will doodle. This is what he does. He'll be like, so JJ, tell me about where you're going. And he's doing lines like this. He's like doing, graphs. Yeah. Then he'll just do like, well, if we're going to go here and then we'll go there and then we go this and that. And he'll do some crazy cockamamie bullshit like this. Yeah. But what he's doing is he's establishing trust with these people, and he's becoming a friend, not a salesperson. Right. And I've watched him take people that are irate and freaking out, and they'll instantly become calm in his presence. And I understand what that is, because a lot of people in sales were taught to, the old saying was, ABC, always be closing, which is 100% the wrong way to do it now. This is 100% relationship based. Walk in and figure out what you can do best to serve the people that you're there to talk to, and be willing to walk away from the transaction if it's the best for them. And once people know that you truly care about them, then they'll actually start giving a shit about you. But because you're going to walk in a lot of the times and they're going to be on the defensive. That's because they're going to think real estate, snake oil salesman, scum of the earth, one step up from a used car salesman. No offense to used car salesmen. But I mean, it's true. We get told to sell and close, but if we need to build our relationships, and that's what he's done for 47 years. That's why he'll walk into Starbucks and people will be like, "Hey, Terry. Hi, Terry." Wow. And he's like, "Hey guys, how are you?" I watched him. We went and played golf the other day. That fucker was like, had a swarm of people around him everywhere we went. "Hey, Terry, I got to meet this guy." Or you meet that guy. "Hey, how is this?" It was insane. It was purely insane.
It's a local celebrity.
He is. Absolutely, awesome. He is.
I love that. Just so you know, when I look down, I'm not ignoring you. I'm taking notes.
I know. Okay? I see the pen moving.
Yeah, I'm just like, shit, this is good. I got to write it down. I can't miss it. So I'm taking notes. Again, multi-million-dollar listing agent up north. You sell a lot of real estate out there. You're really successful on what you do. But this is something I wanted you to kind of talk about and let everybody know as how you sell real estate. The way you are, the way I'm looking at you right now, that's how you go around selling real estate. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, most of the time, usually I'll put a polo shirt on or something if I'm going to go to a listing appointment. But generally, yeah, this is basically how I am. I got flip flops. Generally got my cargo camo shorts on. I try to use myself as a human billboard. So I'll use a real estate shirts. I have a shirt that I wear all the time that says, I'm a real estate agent. What's your superpower? Yeah. I wear my Zillow killer hat. My boy James, hashtag Zillow killer, that my boy James gave me this hat. He is the Zillow killer. He's an amazing human being. He sent me one of these hats and 2 t-shirts, and dude, everywhere I go, people talk to me about it. And it's an instant opportunity to talk about real estate. Hey, what's that happening? What do you mean Zillow killer?
That's right.
And it's just conversation starters. And then it's just working your scripts from that point. And again, always wanting to bring service to people. One of the easiest scripts is, when people come up to you and they're like, "Hey, Greg, how's what does that mean? You're in real estate?" "Yeah." and of course is, what's the next question, right? How's the market, right?
That's right.
Most people will respond, it's great, which is physically impossible, because if it's great for sellers, it can't be great for buyers, and if it's great for buyers, it can't be great for sellers.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm loving this. I'm loving this, Greg, because again, a lot of people, when they think about selling real estate, $1 million real estate, they think about a certain image, what we get portrayed on TV, on movies and all this stuff, that you have to, in order for you to sell multi-million-dollar real estate, you have to be suited and booted, and you have to be wearing this special pants and shoes and all this certain image about selling multi-million-dollar real estate. But that's not the case. That's at least not with you. And so I want you to just be you, be real, because I know you are, and let everybody know why you think it's not the case. Well, at least for you, it's not the case.
If you're going to be in Manhattan, New York, you're probably going to need to be suited and booted, because that's the way your clientele are going to be dressed as well. Here, I'm in Northern California. We're a bunch of pot smoking hippies up here. You know, we chill out. We want to kind of just relax and just be comfortable. So that's the way my clientele is dressing. So it's given me permission to dress the way that I dress in most circumstances. No, I'm not saying I never dress up. I do dress up, occasionally, because I got to, make a good impression. But my dressing up is nice jeans and a dress shirt. And that's about it, right? But what I would say to you, anyone who's listening or watching this, is go out and dress like your customers are going to be dressing. If your customers are showing up in beach board shorts and flip flops, don't show up in a suit. If your clients have suits, don't show up in board shorts, because there's going to be that residency of the energies. Like, oh, you're like me, cool. I feel more comfortable now. When I go to listing appointments. And I say, hey, JJ, I appreciate it. I can't wait to come on over to your property. I just want to let you know I'm a pretty casual guy, so I'm going to be probably in shorts or maybe some jeans, and if that's cool with you. Hands down, every response I get is, oh, dude, that's totally cool, man. I'm super casual too. This is going to be great. And I show up, and dude, they're more casual than me. The first time I tried this was a couple of years ago. This cracked me up. One of my clients, I call them, and I was just not feeling getting dressed up. I just wasn't feeling it for that day. And I'm like, hey bro, like, I'm going to be casual today. He's like, all right, that's cool. Now my casual then was like jeans, polo shirt, a nice polo shirt and some nice shoes. And I show up, he looks me up and down and goes, what the fuck, man? Where are the board shorts and flip flops? I thought you said you're going to be casual. And instantly that gave me permission to be like, oh, okay, well, maybe that can be cool. Maybe people will respect that. Maybe
that's right.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't matter, right? So what I'm hearing you say is that every situation, every market is different. Identify your client and dress accordingly based on who your client is or where your market is. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, exactly. Dress for your clientele. And you know what? That really comes down to also the real estate agent identifying what kind of type of marketplace you want to work in.
That's right.
If you want to work in a boating community where you can wear shorts all day long, awesome. If you would rather dress up like JJ, you look super awesome. You look snappy as shit on in this interview. If you want to dress like JJ, find the marketplace that will allow you to do that without being out of place. Just find your tribe, and then go to work. That's as easy as it is.
That's right. Now, Greg, I normally ask the people that I bring on the podcast to share 3 to 5 tips or somewhat of advice that the listener, the viewer can benefit from. So I'm going to ask you right now, because then after that, I'm going to go into the Zillow killer, the hat. But I'm going to ask you, if you had to give 3 to 5 tips or advice to the viewer or the listener, as far as selling real estate at a high-end market, about being authentic, about being themselves, identifying who they are. I mean, just anything that you feel that could help the audience or whoever's going to be just the audience. What will those 3 to 5 things be, Greg? I'm just curious to find out.
Be consistently in a state of curiosity. Be a student of this industry, listen to podcasts, read books, go to seminars, humble yourself. You don't have an ego. When I first got into this business, I had an ego coming out of my ears, and I didn't listen to my father when I first got into business. I was I was 20, just turned 21 years old, just dumb as they came. Right. And my dad turns to me and goes, Greg, you know what you should become? I'm like, what, Dad? He's like, you should become the condo king. I'm like, oh, fuck off. I don't want to be a condo king. I want to go sell $1 million homes like you. And my ego got in the way there, and I didn't listen to advice. And if I had listened to him, my career would have taken off much faster. Like a car at a red light, I would have been in first gear, not fifth gear. Mm-hmm. And because I didn't listen to that advice, my career took longer to take off. So be a student of the industry, check your ego at the door. Don't get stuck in a rut of just buying and selling. Keep your eyes and ears open for potential investment opportunities. Look for the deals. And then, if you can buy them, if it's a good deal, go get the money and buy them. Start buying real estate as soon as humanly possible. Even if you got into this business and you don't have two nickels to rub together, if you find a good deal, the money will be there. I absolutely guarantee you the money will be there if you find the right deals. Because in this industry, we are only as good as our last transaction, our last escrow. So if you don't have an escrow, you're essentially out of business because there's no income coming in. And I'm a part of EXP, and I'm not here to promote EXP, but I got into it because of the residual income side of it. If I was introduced to this 20 years ago, I would have a residual income stream that would be coming out of my ears, and I would have been retired on a beach somewhere. I bought into became a part of an organization called Smart Real Estate Coach, a guy named Chris Profontaine, can't talk. And his son-in-law, Zach Beach, and their family, and they teach people how to buy real estate on term. So lease option, seller financing, stuff like that, not using your own money. It's another way to take more income coming into you, because in 2016, I came down, I don't know what I came down with. It must have been like the worst case of the flu on earth, but I was in bed, flat on my back for 30 days, just wanting to die.
Wow.
And if I didn't have my team bringing in income, then I would have been shit out of luck. And it scared me. What if I had a family? What if I'm not married. I don't have kids. What if I was married? What if I did have kids? What if I had people dependent on me and I couldn't put money into the bank or food on the table because I was sick? Yeah. So hedge yourself. This industry is changing. It's going to radically change in the next 3 to 5 years. Like the way we do business right now will most likely not be the way we do business then. You need to start looking forward, start moving move to where the puck is going to be. Don't just be where you are now, because you will be eliminated, and always be growing. Always be growing. And that's the one thing that I consistently love about what I do, is that I get up and I proactively hunt out information. I'll go to Inman News. I'll go to Realty Times. I'll go to Neighborhood Scout. I'll go to, Social Media Examiner. I'll go to all these different, and then a lot more, resources, and I'll read articles, watch videos. I'll hunt down stuff on YouTube. Go find whatever you can to become just one iota smarter than you were the next day. I know that's very cliche and everyone says it, but if you do that 365 days a year or 280 days out of the year, which is a typical work year, that's 280 little tidbits that you're better at than the other person. And also, read a book every month. Get audible.com, get something, read a book. Do not read 50 Stupid Shades to Gray, all right? Go get something that's educational, that's going to bring value to you. Go find a single subject matter, sales, negotiating, relationships, whatever, and just, read our books on that one subject for a year. I think the stats are, typical people, when they're commuting to work, their commute to work is 25 minutes and their commute from work is 25 minutes. And if you take those 2 blocks of time and you stop listening to the latest Britney Spears bullshit song, horse shit, and listen to something educational in that specific realm, you'll have the equivalent of a PhD in, I think, 12 months if you're doing that. So imagine what you could do in 2, 3, 5 years, have 5 PhDs in different topics. It's insane. Who's going to be able to compete with you?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm a big believer in audibles and all that stuff. It's great way to listen to or read books nowadays. You just listen to them while you commute. Now, I want to go back because you mentioned something about a book, and you mentioned the book "Follow Your Passion." What's the rest of it?
Follow your passion, find your power. It's all about putting out into the universe. And so this is the most powerful thing about this book is there was something that was always eating at me when I would do like, hey, here's my goals. Here's this. I'm like, always had this weight on my chest and my shoulders. Like, I want to make $1 million. Well, then all of a sudden, have you ever done that before? And then you feel like this weight on your chest or your shoulder, like you can't do this. You'll never be able to afford that, or you can't talk to that guy or that girl or whatever else. Right.
Yeah.
This is the only book that showed me how to get rid of that energy, that power. And one of the things is called EFT. Now, EFT is a tapping solution. And trust me on this, you will feel super stupid the first time you did it. I hid in my bathroom and closed the door and did it for the first time. And there's a guy named Brad. I'll look him up before the end of the interview. He's on YouTube. You can watch him, and it's a series of energy releases. And go look this stuff up. I thought it was stupid, but I'll tell you the story. So you tap like you tap on above your forehead, on your side of your eye, below your nose, on your chin, on your chest, and below your armpit. And trust me, it sounds stupid, but I was at a point where I had to deal with this. And so I did my first EFT tapping from what was in the book, and I tapped about making more money. Right. So I did my tapping solution. I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't feel any different. I'm like, okay, went into work. I'm at work and I get a phone call. I got a phone call from my friend, Kim. Now, Kim was more like a party friend. Right. And she goes, hey, Greg, it's Kim. I'm like, hey, Kim, small talk. Hey, Greg, well, my fiance and I were wondering, would you help us sell my house and help us buy a bigger house? I got off the phone. I'm like, either that's the largest coincidence on earth or something's really going on here. Yeah. And so I went out and I helped them buy and sell a house. And it came from the EFT tapping. The other solution is called the Sedona Method. Now look this one up. This is one that you can do anywhere in public, and you can do it instantaneously. If you're at a listing appointment, if you're on a first date, if you're talking to your mother-in-law, if you're talking to clients, if you're stressed out about going door knocking or doing calls, whatever, right? The Sedona Method is so simple that people think it doesn't work. So let's say you get in a fight with a coworker or your team lead or whatever, right? And you're like, fuck this motherfucker. Well, I want you to take a second, and this is what you do. You can ask yourself these 3 simple questions. You're going to ask yourself, okay, I'm going to feel whatever energy this is, anger, frustration, hurt, name it, right? Then you say, could I release it? And now this needs to be a binary answer. It can't be, well, maybe kind of, sort of, we don't know. No. It's a yes, no. So could I release it? Yes. Now, here's the cool thing. With the Sedona Method, you can answer no to that question, and you'll still release a layer of that energy. It just, you have to be real with yourself. So, could I release it? Yes. Okay. Then you ask yourself the second question. Would I release it? Yes, no. Again, would I release it? Yes. Then you ask yourself the third question. When? And I'll ask myself these 3 questions. Could I release it? Yes, I could. Would I release it? Yes, I would release it. When? Now. And I just let it out. And I was carrying around stress, hurt, fear, frustration, shame for going through a bankruptcy, going through the foreclosure, losing my cars. I went down to $35 down to my name. I had to give my car to one of my friends so he could drive it. I missed out on 4 or 5 bachelor parties. I couldn't go out and party with my friends. I was a recluse. I would go to the supermarket and I would pray to loving baby Jesus that my card wouldn't get rejected over $5 because I bought the cheapest bread, the cheapest peanut butter, the cheapest jam, because that's the only fucking thing I could afford. And I prayed that I wouldn't get rejected. And I held on to that, and it hurt me so much. When they put the foreclosure notices on my front door, my whole neighborhood could see what was going on. And it was humiliating beyond belief. I hid. And then once I figured out this relief structure, I can't tell you how much energy just fell off of me, like boulders rolling down a hill. And I became lighter, and I became more vibrant. I started seeing value in myself again, and that was the turning point when I learned how to release that negative energy. And all of us hold on to something like that. And that's why that book, Follow Your Passion, Find Your Power, was so instrumental in my life. It showed me that I can release this negativity out of my system, and I can become free of it.
Awesome. I wrote it down. I definitely want to check it out. Sounds like a great book. Now, Greg, last question. I want to ask you about Zillow Killer. What does that mean? Why are you sporting it? I saw it on a couple of your posts, videos. You're even hashtagging Zillow Killer. What's the deal behind it?
So it's not mine. I have no ownership in it whatsoever. My boy, James Rembrandt, he's just one of those dudes that is just the salt of the earth, solid human being. And I love what he stands for. He stands for just like giving everything that he possibly can out to help other agents in the industry. He contacted me a number of years ago, and it was just this random dude from New York who was calling me, right? And he told me, hey, Greg, he calls me Big Brother. He's like, hey, Big Brother. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, you don't know me, but you've been my unofficial, coach while I was in real estate. And I'm like, oh man, that's cool. He's like, yeah, man, I listened to what you were doing and I put it into action. I was able to sell some houses. He ultimately has gotten out of it, and he started this brand, Zillow Killer. He's a national speaker. Go take a look at him. He's phenomenal. And I wear this for two reasons. One, I want to support him because he's a solid human being that will give his shirt off his back to help other people. That's the same way that I resonate, the same way you resonate, what we want to do. And second off, it's one hell of a fucking conversation starter, exactly like what we're doing right now. Awesome. So it just gets the conversation going. And she shows people how to, and this is something I have a passion for, is video. How to use video to stop buying leads from Zillow, to start being your own brand and start dominating your own marketplace. And so it just resonates with me all the way across the board. And that's why I rock this stuff, and just, helping, other people become better and all the way around.
Awesome. So James, and what's his last name again?
Rembrandt. I'll give it to you off air.
Awesome. Well, look him up for sure. And,
yeah, man.
Okay. So he's basically going around saying that you don't have to pay Zillow this freaking thousands of dollars that people pay on a monthly basis to generate leads. There's a different method, a video method, for you to go ahead and put video content out there and get those leads that Zillow tries to sell you for thousands of dollars. Yeah,
100%. I mean, he literally takes his own money when he goes through boot camps, and he'll say, okay, JJ, you're going through this course. Cool, man. I'm going to pick you. Me and my team, we're going to help you. We're all going to watch how this funnels are going to be built with the video content. And then I'm going to put my money to back you, and I'm going to get you leads live through this course.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I like that.
It's a pretty legit
James,
thing.
For sure. I definitely want to connect with James. Greg, is there anything else that you perhaps want to go and share with the audience? I know what you shared in the last 30, 45 minutes was it was badass. It was good. Some people are going to take advantage of it. A lot won't. That's just how it is. But even if it's that one individual that benefits from the podcast, but if there's anything that you want to share with whoever's going to be listening and watching your video, what will that be?
I would say do what scares you the most, and do it every single day. Door knocking and cold calling or video or anything else, but don't ever be afraid to try something that you want to try when it comes to finding business in this industry. If people in your office are poo-pooing an idea of yours, do it 2 times over. Because if they're saying no to you, it's because they're afraid of you and they're afraid of your idea. Now, when I started the podcast, I got in knockdown, drag out fights with my father. Like seriously, like fuck you, hang up the phone kind of conversations, because he was having people call him and say, your son's offensive, your son's cursing, your son's doing this. And first off, I was pretty ticked off that people wouldn't just come to me and be like, hey, Greg, I got a problem with the way you speak. You know, they ran into my father and to my mother and to my coworkers and my business partners. They didn't come to me like a bunch of pussy ass bitches. But I didn't stop. I didn't stop being me. I was authentic to my core. And then all of a sudden, one day, a light switch flipped. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, you know what you're doing is really good. What you're doing is helping people. What you're doing, you know, because all I'm doing is speaking. I'm just saying the words that everyone else is thinking. That's all I was doing. So if you have an idea for a video, or if you have an idea for a marketing plan or a card, or if you want to start a group or anything you want to do, go do it. Don't wait. The universe is giving you this idea for a reason. Take action on the idea, or it will be given to somebody else, and you will look back and say, wait a minute, that was my idea. How come you have my idea now? It's because you didn't take action on it.
That's right.
Second thing would be get into video, guys. I'm really serious. Look, the millennials that are going to be behind you, like JJ, I heard you interview with your daughter who's 19, right?
Yep.
Dude, she is going to step on other agents' throats with steel-toed boots because she's going to be doing the social media stuff that, you know, people my age and older just aren't going to be doing. You need to start doing video immediately. I don't care if you feel you have a face for radio and you hate your voice. That doesn't matter. As long as you bring value, people will listen to you. So there's 2 resources you can go to that are some of my favorites. realtytimes.com. And you go there and you go to the consumer advice tab. You'll run your mouse over it. It'll drop down. There'll be, I think, 8 or 9 tab selections of content. But there's buyer, seller, homeowner, new home, mortgage, HOA. And I think there's another one in there. They have hundreds and hundreds of articles that you can already pre-written. They're short and poppy. They got sexy titles to them. Go get a different article every day. There's 7 of them, so 7 days a week. And just take it, read it. Don't read it on air. Read it and then give your opinion about the points out. It's going to do 2 things. One, it's going to educate you as a new or upcoming agent on what's on different subject matter every single day. And 2, you'll be able to build and create YouTube playlists with buyer, seller, new home, homeowner, so on and so forth, videos, so that when you meet Greg and his fictitious wife at the open house, you can be like, JJ can be, hey, Greg, so have you bought a home before? No. Well, hey, here's my YouTube channel. Go to my buyer, playlist, and you can watch a lot of the videos I've done about buyers here in the area. So it gives you credibility immediately. Also, you can go to Neighborhood Scout. Now, Neighborhood Scout is a paid and unpaid site. If you just type in your zip code in the search bar, don't put an address in, just put a zip code in. It's going to populate a map right below it. And it's going to have the outline of that zip code, and then it's in a red outline. And then on the interior of that, it's going to be micro markets in that zip code. You can roll your mouse over and you can see these little micro markets. Now, this is the really cool thing about this for education-wise for agents, is that you can go in and let's say you click on, just Smith in Maine. That's the name of this micro market. Let's say you have an open house in that area, right? Well, you can read about the real estate market, and these are broad sword strokes. These are not scalpels. So notable and unique people, notable and unique places, ethnicity, ancestry, occupations, mode of transportation to work, all kinds of crazy shit. And go stand in that micro market, do a couple of videos on different topics that you can pull from that nobody else would know. And then you can put those into playlist as well on your YouTube channel, because YouTube is the only place to go for long form content. Facebook Live is not the place to go for long form content. We all thought it was. It's definitely not anymore. But it'll take time. But if you're already going to be out in these areas, door knocking, meeting with clients, doing showings, whatever it is going to take you to these areas, double down on this stuff. Make sure that you're going to be able to put some content that's going to be long form, long lasting. Also, you can take all this content, copy and paste it onto a Word doc if you're going to have an open house there, put your name at the top and the bottom of this thing. So when people come through and they're like, hey, have you been looking in the area? No. Oh, here's a sheet about some of the stuff here in the area. Oh, check this out. It's a 74% Hispanic, 2% white, 11% black, whatever it is. People are going to want to live near their own clan, right? Their own tribe, no matter what that looks like. So if you can educate them, on both digital and hard copy, what are you? You're the local expert because you have knowledge and you're doing things no one else is doing.
That's right.
If I moved to LA, to your area, I wouldn't know where the fuck to move in. I don't know your neighborhood. But if I saw all your videos, I'm like, oh, this JJ fool, he's got it going on. I want to call this guy because he educated me. He gave something to me.
I like that. So true story. I'm building my YouTube channel and with my son, he's now my media guy. We're trying to get creative as far as the content we put out. And you just gave me like shitload of freaking great ideas right now as far as content for the consumer. Mm-hmm. And that right there, that's powerful.
For the consumer, here's another couple of good ideas. You can go to patch.com. You can go to TripAdvisor. Those are because TripAdvisor is going to give you cool things to, top restaurants, top attractions in your area. Go contact them and start doing interviews with these people. And dude, they will do it. And then here's another one. If you want to bring true value to your neighborhoods, this is as easy as it comes. Go to Groupon.com. Go to Groupon, look up things to do or restaurants or whatever else. They're offering out a certain discount code. Let's say it's a 10% off, whatever else, or, buy one, get one free, whatever the offer is. Call them up and say, hey, Mr. Bike Shop, I see that you're giving a 26% off on a tune-up. I'm a real estate agent, and you explain who you are. I saw this and I would like to offer this out to my database. And here's a little fun fact for you guys. Did you guys know that Groupon, after the discount, Groupon generally takes about 50% of the profits that merchant takes. So they only take about 25% home of what they actually would be making after that discount. So they use it just as a marketing thing. So if you say, hey, can I offer out that 26% discount off the tune-up at your bike shop? I don't want to take any of your revenue. I just want to offer it out. We can call it the JJ discount. And I'll tell them to use that so you can track it. 100% of the time, the merchants will say yes to you. You walk down, you film an interview with them, and then you just push it out and you ask them, hey, this is what I do. I say, hey, we're going to do a video with you. I'm going to put $100 behind this and I'm going to push it out on social media. Do you want to match me for $100 and we can push it out together and we can hit twice as many people and do, really drive some business for you? Majority of the time, they're going to say yes. And the reason why you want to do this with the merchants is that there was another organization, I can't remember the name of the company, but he started this something very, very similar. And on average, every merchant that he did a video with and then push it out for social media, that merchant would give him about one referral a year. So if you have 50 merchants that you're working with, well, that's a potential 50 referrals because they have people walking through their front doors that know, like, and trust them. They give them money on a daily basis that you will never be able to build a rapport with. And if they can introduce you to just one person a year, gold money. Nice. I mean, it's simple and it's repeatable.
I like that. Greg, I want to thank you so much for your time. I've taken a lot of notes. I'm just a student of the game, and one of your tips was to remain a student of the game, and I'm definitely a student of the game. I love doing this interview, this podcast, because I learned too. I picked up a lot of things you said right now, and so for that, I want to thank you because not only will I learn, but also the whoever watches or listens to the podcast are going to learn too. So I personally want to thank you, brother. Thank you so much for taking your time this morning to do this interview with me. I want to be able to help or get more people to connect with you again. So please, again, share where they can connect with you. If they want to follow you on social media, they want to call you for some real estate out there up north, please go ahead and plug right in.
Sure. If you guys want to get a hold of me for real estate, it's very simple. My cell number, you can text me or call me on 925-915-1978. Instagram is Greg McDaniel, REU. And then my podcast, if you guys want to get some additional training, that Matt and I have hundreds of episodes up with some phenomenal interviews and a lot of if you go back to some of our original stuff on YouTube and in the podcast, some hardcore sales training and techniques. It's Real Estate Uncensored. You can find it pretty much anywhere there. And that's the way you can really kind of get a hold of me. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Greg McDaniel. Follow me there. If you guys want to do, if you guys like doing prospecting calls, I do a thing called Beers and Calls, where I drink a beer generally around 4 to 4:30 in the afternoon. And then I will do live prospecting calls on Redx and on Facebook Live. And so you guys will see how I do objection handling, how I do my scripting, how I do all of that stuff. So go follow me, Greg McDaniel. I got a big old microphone in front of my face. It's really easy to find me. Just follow me there for all that stuff.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, brother. But that before I let you go, you mentioned something about getting on live and doing drinking a beer and also calling, which I've seen some of your lives that you do on Facebook. I'm thinking this, why don't we do an additional podcast on just objection handling or script mastering? I think that'll be a badass podcast for the real estate individual.
Sweet.
We could go over just listed calls, circle prospecting. We could go over expires for by owners. I mean, you name it, because I know you're pretty good at that. I think I'm pretty decent at that as well. We could go on there and just make it about that. Your average or your normal objections and your objection handling. And I think that'll be really beneficial for the real estate industry.
I mean, like Flynn, brother, anything I can do to help you, the podcast, and the listeners of this show, you can count me in. We can also talk about for rent by owners, which people don't really pay any heed to, but it is an absolute 100% gold mine, and nobody's calling them. It is unbelievable. I'll show you my scripting, my style, why I stutter, and why I do a lot of the things that I do. I'm telling you, man, I even have to put a disclaimer on when I do these live to tell them they're being recorded live. I thought I was going to kill my show. Dude, it just made it even better.
I saw that. I saw that. And you're pretty smooth about it. So I like that. Greg, again, brother, thank you so very much. I want to thank you for all the knowledge, all the great nuggets you shared with us today. I definitely will connect with you after, so we'll go ahead and get podcast number 2 out with objections and script master and all the good stuff. But for now, brother, I want to thank you so very much again. Guys, we'll go ahead and finish up with this. Thanks again for tuning in for another episode of Real Talk with Jara. See you in the next one. Let's go.